Hello and welcome back to my channel Kotse. And today I am back. This is my second video on the day, covering up the backlog of the yesterday. The backlog which occurred yesterday for the want of time. Today I am going to deal with this famous family feud of Indian origin businessman in United States. A battle is famously known as Jogbani versus Jogbani. Just a while ago, it's been widely reported that four Indian brothers win rupees 2000 crore in property dispute with the fifth brother in the United States. The brother involved are Jogbani brothers. They hail originally from the Gujarat. Obviously, Gujarat is a business dominated state, and the Gujaratis are needless a business community with the Marwadis. Thus, that's not an issue. I have the judgment before me which has been pronounced from the Court of Appeal of the State of California, Second Appellate District, the Division 3. Proceedings are between Shailesh Jogbani versus Haresh Jogbani and others. Shailesh Jogbani was the original plaintiff and Haresh Jogbani and others were the original defendant and were the appellant and the respondent respectively. The plaintiffs were represented by, that is Shailesh Jogbani's were represented by Ecoff, Campaign and Tiles, Lawrence C. Ecoff and Alberto J. Campaign, whereas Haresh Jogbani, that is respondent, were represented by Horwitz and Levy, Jason R. Litt, Rebecca G. Paul, the Cameron Law Firm, and Perry G. Cameron. Now, this is $250 million property dispute which lasted for 21 years in the legal battle. What has happened is this is basically seeking a partnership of the profit in the business venture by the brother Shailesh Jogbani versus Harish Jogbani and others. So, what is the whole issue? Harish Jogbani's brother claimed he was a partner in Harish Los Angeles real estate business based on an alleged oral partnership agreement. In a bifurcated trial to decide Harish's statute of limitation defense, the jury concluded that all of the brothers claimed harm occurred outside of the limitation period, and so his claim for a breach of contract, breach of good faith and fair dealing, and breach of fiduciary duty were all time barred. The trial court subsequently found no basis of equitable tolling. On an appeal, Harish brother is Shailesh Jogbani. He filed an appeal and argued that the trial court judgment must be reversed for a new trial because of the following issue. The special verdict form, which was supposedly fatally defective, in that it did not break out each element of the breach of contract claim. Second, the trial court should have allowed him to present series of audio recording of the brothers' conversation, which plaintiff, that is Shailesh Jogani, claimed was silver bullet proving his case, meaning thereby that those audio or recordings of the brothers' conversation were very vital for proving his case. And third, the trial court erred in dismissing his fraud claim. Now, this 21-year-old battle carried forward from trial court to the Court of Appeal in the state of California was finally decided, and the appeal court affirmed the finding of the trial court, which is finding none of the plaintiff's challenge is meritorious and agreeing with all of the argument made by the defense counsel, that is Horwitz and Levy, who represented the Harish Jogani. It held that brother forfeited his challenge to special verdict form by not objecting it to below or requesting a different one, and in any event special verdict form was not defective. It also held that the trial court did not abuse its discretion by excluding the audio recordings due to the wealth of the issues relating to the recordings' authenticity, chain of custody, and the relevance. Finally, the appeal court held that the trial court dismissal of the fraud claim could not be prejudicial because it too would have been barred by the statute of limitation. The crux is here that this four Indian brothers who wins this property dispute as against the fifth brother, who has been directed to pay rupees 200 crore, which in US dollar equivalent is 250 million, which is the profit of the business. The verdict is delivered just a day before, and these proceedings are concluded in affirmative, holding the trial court's verdict. Defendant respondents are to recover their cost on an appeal. This is what finally concluded. Now, we all know that Indian legal system takes years and years, and this Jogani versus Jogani, the family feud, the legal dispute, also took almost 21 years to conclude in the appeal. The trial court verdict is in favor of the Harish Jogani, which is again in affirmative concluded in favor of the Harish Jogani in an appeal filed by the Shailesh Jogani. This is what the sum and substance. The damages and dividend of shares for their Southern Californian property empire, about 17,000 apartments worth billions and more. The trial over allegation that Harish breached a long-standing partnership with his sibling continues with the punitive damages hearing Monday that could add to the award. The suit was filed in 2003, allegedly has been through 18 appeals, generation of the attorneys and 5 judges in the Los Angeles Superior Court, is drawing comparison from some of the lawyers to the fictional Victorian era probate case that Charles Dickens wrote about in his 1852 novel Bleak House. They are calling Jogani versus Jogani the new Jardins versus Jardin, but with a twist. That is the famous case once again. At the end, there was no money, hence the name Bleak House, said Peter Rose, an attorney who represented Chetan and Rajesh Jogani. That's not the case here. There are billions here that remains to be distributed. So basically, these are the comments coming in the media on this famous Jogani versus Jogani trial, I thought of sharing this uh, uh, the judgment, or rather verdict, in favor of the Joganis by giving little synopsis. Jogani families are basically from natives of the Gujarat, built a fortune in the global diamond trade, establishing outposts in Europe, Africa, Middle East, North America. Shashikant, who is Shashi Jogani, moved at the age of 22 in 1969 to California, where he began a solo firm in the gem business and started to build a property portfolio according to the complaint he filed. The properties suffered loss in the recession of the early 90s, which worsened after 1994 Northridge earthquake, which killed 16 people in one of his buildings, leading Sashi to bring in his brother as a partner. That is how these brothers became a partner. The firm then embarked on buying spree that eventually built a portfolio to roughly 17,000 apartment units, with the brothers collaborating with until Harish forcibly removed his sibling from managing the firm and refused to pay him. According to Sashi Jogani's complaint, this is what the basis of the complaint. Harish Jogani contended that without a written agreement, his brother couldn't prove they had a partnership with him, but the jury found that Harish had broken an oral contract. So that is how it led from internal family dispute, which eventually landed in the court. As the trial was coming to close, Harish Jogani moved to disqualify the judge, accusing her of racial animus towards his lawyer and other misconduct. In filing last week, Judge Suzanne Bryant Treason denied doing anything improper and rejected the claim that she is biased or prejudiced for or against any of the parties or a lawyer in the case. She referred the motion to the court's supervising judge, where it is pending. The jury concluded Shashi owns 50% of the real estate partnership, followed by 20% to the Harish, 10% to the Rajesh, 9.5% to the Shailesh, and 6.5% to the Chetan, the brothers. The youngest, who is now 62-year-old, according to the Ross. The initial damages awarded for Sashi now is 77 was 1.8 billion. The property generated as much as 137 million a year in net operating income, according to Michelle Friedman, 37, who is his father. Steve has represented Shashi since 2014, the year after he passed the bar to practice the law. There is enormous portfolio that Shashi built, he said, and it sustained itself. The case is Jogani versus Jogani, BC 290553, California Superior Court, Los Angeles. The verdict came in favor of in favor by wherein the appeal came to be rejected and the trial court's findings came to be concluded. The Horwitz and Levy represented the Harish Joganis, who were the defendant and the respondent in appeal. And finally, it came to be concluded in favor of Harish Jogani. That is how this reports in media speaks. Four Indian brothers win 2,000 crore in property dispute with the fifth one in the United States. That is how the tagline, the headline. 4 versus 1. That is 4 brothers, one a family feud legal dispute against the one. And that's how this conclusion of appeal. I thought of sharing this, and I have the copy of this judgment. On perusal of this judgment, one can learn a lot about the trial court and the appeal court procedure, which is academically very important, and also legally. If you uh, want to enlighten, it's obviously an helpful judgment to given a thought of when you are dealing with the identical issues involved in any legal domain, be it in India or abroad. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching my video. Have a nice day. I shall come back with another subject on legal issues in coming days. Until then, have a nice weekend. Bye.